everybody, welcome back to my channel, Karen Prudence Let's Stitch and Make Up. Today's video is going to be a little bit more on a serious note. I have joined the ABC campaign and I am going to talk a little bit about bullying. It's an anti-bullying campaign, and I'm going to start off by telling you the definition of bullying, the Wikipedia definition of bullying. I'm going to be looking down because I have it on my laptop right in front of me. The Wikipedia definition of bullying is the use of force, coercion, or threat to abuse, aggressively dominate, or intimidate. And I was tagged by Jennifer, Froggy Went to Knitting. And this whole campaign was started by Say It with Squishy Yarn Crochet, Squish, and LadybirD Loves Lisa. Now, I didn't script anything. I didn't write anything down that I wanted to talk about. I'm just going to talk from my heart and let you know a little bit of what I went through. I went through bullying as a child, as a teenager, and I even had a bit of bullying as an adult as well. I mean, into my adulthood, like, I'm nervous, sorry. I just want to start off by saying I have narcolepsy with cataplexy. Now, cataplexy is any big emotion that I feel, whether or not it's happy, laughing, getting startled, getting really upset. I have a cataplexy and my whole body just goes limp, and my head goes forward, or if I'm back like this, it'll go back, and I lose all muscle control over my body. I fall down, my eyes shut, and I can't move. I can't talk, I can't open my eyes for a few seconds to a few minutes. And although I can hear everything around me, I can feel everything, I just can't move or talk or open my eyes. And then I bounce out of it right away and I'm back to my regular self. So I'm pre-warning you that this is going to be a raw video, that most likely I will have a cataplexy or two in the process. So my husband said to leave them in so that you can see as many as I can have, or what happens when when I have one, what emotions I'm feeling in order to have one. I was going to edit them all out, but it's a part of me. It's who makes me up as a person, and that's one area that I have been teased about. I've had people say some awful things to me about it, tease me that, you know, I better wrap myself up in bubble wrap, and say derogatory sexual things to me about it too, because of being out. And I am nervous about showing people it, because ever since I got diagnosed with it, I notice I don't get invited out as much anymore. I am left out of a lot more things because people are afraid I'm going to have a cataplexy and I might hurt myself, because I have another disease called osteogenesis imperfecta that gives me brittle bones. So if I fall down, I can break. And since last year, I've broken my lower jaw. I fractured my lower jaw 3 times, twice in the front, once on this side. I broke my nose. I broke 2 or 3 toes. I broke 2 ribs, was punctured a lung and collapsed the lung, and I had to be in the hospital and have it reinflated. Yeah, so, oh, and I broke a finger as well. So a lot of things, you know, can happen, and I can break fairly easily. So if I fall from a cataplexy right on the ground, people are afraid that I'll get hurt, broken bones or whatever. And I understand that. I know it would be nerve-wracking to be with somebody going through that, but I have worked very, very hard at controlling my emotions. I always say, like, I'm on a level base like this. I try not to let my emotions fluctuate up and down, and I will just, things that might get me upset, I'll just not even deal with. I'll just slide that off my shoulders and like a water off a duck's feathers, and I just will not deal with, like, let it sink in so that I won't have a cataplexy. Like, for instance, if somebody says something to me and it's hurtful, I'm just not going to pay attention to that, because if I get upset, then I can have one. If I'm going to watch a funny show, I will lay on the bed, and then I can have as many cataplexies as I want. I'm safe. But it hurts. It hurts when people leave you out, when people are planning all these things and they specifically do not invite you to come. That's very hurtful. I've lost some friends. I've lost a I'm sorry. I lost a very good friend. We were very close, and because of my illnesses, I couldn't be there for her as much as I always was. She just told me that she didn't want to be friends anymore, and that she couldn't, deal with my things. And since I couldn't be there for her, that was it. So that friendship was over, and it was a very good friendship. It was, we were very, very close, and I miss her every day. And because of other illnesses I have, people don't come around as much, people don't invite you out as much. I had to have my right hip replaced when I was 44. They actually wanted to do it when I was 30, but decided to hang on to it. And then the doctor said, yeah, let's hang on to it as long as possible and then do it. I would walk weird. I would limp a lot, but I would pivot when I turned. I would do a pivot like this because it hurt otherwise. If I just turned around fast, and the hip would click and go out of joint, and then I would fall. And I've been made fun of by post people with my walking, to the point where they mimicked me in front of my face and laughed as they did it. I can't tell you how much that hurts. That hurts so much. And especially when it's people that are supposed to love you, family, friends, and love you for your faults. It's not even a fault. Love you for just the things that you have. It doesn't matter. But to make fun of somebody, and when I started losing my vision, and I was told that eventually I would be blind, and I have very little vision left in my left eye, and my right eye is not the best either, but it's the better eye. Peripheral vision is lost a lot. Like, I have a pinpoint of vision in my left eye, and I'm lost some vision around this eye. And people made fun of that. They said, oh, well, you better learn to read Braille really fast, and get yourself a seeing eye dog, or like, you'll have to feel your way through the darkness and all this stuff. I know I like to, I have joked around about, things, like laughed about myself, feeling my way in the movie theater and then walking into somebody. Yeah, that's funny. But when people actually sit there and they are poking fun at you for your disabilities, for your things that are wrong, that are not working the way they used to. It is so hurtful. And especially when, like I said, their family or their friends, close friends, not even strangers. These are people that you love and are supposed to love you and not do that to you. It's very hurtful. Um, when I was a young child, a young girl, I haven't even told really anybody this before. I'm telling you guys things. Um, I was a young girl in elementary school. I don't even remember how old I was, maybe 10 or 11. And we were playing in the front of the school. And it was after school, so school wasn't, it was after school hours. And we were all playing in the front. And our house, when I was a child, used to be across the street from the school. And so we were playing in the front of this school. And some school kids that I went to school with came over and they were playing too. And we were playing ball and I had a ball. And they said, "Oh, let's play ball. Let's play something with the ball." And so I said, "Okay, let's do that." And you know, they wanted, I guess, wanted my ball or something. And it was kids that I knew. It was that I went to school with, and so they said, "Let's play dodgeball." Well, I didn't like to play dodgeball because I broke so easy, and I was very little. You know, I was a 4 foot something, and didn't weigh much at all, and so just barely 4 feet, I guess, and so we're playing and I'm running around and I'm trying to like get away from the ball and that, and didn't throw very good. And I seen the one girl who I thought was a friend whispering to the one of the guys and looking at me, and I didn't know like what they were doing. And then so they said, "Okay, well, you gotta run," and they start throwing the ball for dodgeball. And so I was running, and the guy just turned around and whipped that ball at me so hard. It hit my arm and it broke my arm. And they all started laughing. They thought it was funny, and I'm then in pain and trying not to cry because they're calling me a baby. And, "Oh, she can't play nothing, blah, 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 blah." And then they were like, "Oh, you're fine," and all that stuff. And so then I went home and went to the doctors and broke my arm. I had a cast on. But that's very upsetting. It's very humiliating for a young child. I was so excited that they wanted to play with me, and here they just wanted to hurt me, make fun of me and have a good laugh at my expense. So as I grew up, I didn't stand for that. If I seen somebody being bullied, picked on, made fun of, I always jumped in and tried to get the person to stop from doing that. And if they didn't stop, I would go get somebody to help stop it. There is nothing good that comes out of doing that to somebody, of bullying somebody. And if you are mad about something, or that person upsetted you, or something, you just don't care for that person, then just walk away. Just go a different route. Just walk into another room. Go somewhere else away from that person. Don't sit there and tease them or physically hurt them and then have a group of kids start making fun of the person. Don't do that. It's devastating to the person on the other end dealing with that. And it's something that you do take with you throughout your life. And it's something that I have taken with me throughout my life. And it's made me who I am today. Yes, I have emotional scars. Yes, I have little things that I deal with that affected me from that. Yes, I have worked on this. Yes, I have worked on myself. Yes, I have tried to not let anyone bother me anymore, try to not let things get to me, but we're all human. We have emotions. We get hurt feelings. Um, it affects us. Words hurt more than physical stuff. Physical stuff will go away eventually, but the mental abuse that comes with the physical is what scars us deep. It scars you right into the heart, into your psyche, right into your brain, and it leaves you with that little mental voice inside you that's saying you're not good enough. Don't go there. People don't want you there. You're just not good enough. And that's how I've felt for a lot of my life. I've been told I was ugly, fat, stupid. Um, and you start to believe that as a young child. And as you get into your adult, you start to believe that. You start to believe what everybody's saying. And you look at yourself and you go, gosh, what is wrong with me? But there's nothing wrong with you. It's the people that are doing that need to stop that behavior. Some people, some kids, they're not taught, and kids will just say and do whatever. They don't think of long-term results of if they say something. It's not always them being mean. It's just they're saying stuff that they see. If they see you have orange hair, they'll say, oh, you have orange hair. But then that's where the parents need to step in and say, don't just go up to people and say things. Like, don't point out if they're limping or something, or whatever that may be the reason. But adults who do this know better. And there are so many people that have got bullied as adults. And, it hurts. Like, as a child, I always thought that, I was just the ugliest person around and really stupid and fat. And, I thought I wasn't good enough. I felt invisible, and I do have to say, I do feel like that sometimes as an adult. I feel forgettable, you know. I'm sorry. Um, I learned as a child and as a teenager that if somebody didn't like you, a lot of the times they would hurt you. And so I always wanted to, make people like me. And I would get scared if you didn't like me, because bad things happened when people didn't like you. They could physically hurt you. They could say horrible things. They could alienate you from everything, where you just feel so alone. As a real little girl, I used to pray that I wouldn't wake up, because I just didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to deal with the reality of what, how people are and everything. And I had a lot of health issues, a lot of pain when I was younger. I was in and out of hospitals. I couldn't do the things that other kids could do. I, was limping all the time. My hip would give out on me, break very easily. My other sister, she broke a ton as well, just the same condition as I. And then that was my middle sister, and my older sister, she has it as well, but she hasn't, hers is more mild. She didn't break as much as us and didn't have, like with me, with my hips. When I was around 2.5, 3 years old, I had to have my right hip operated on because it was out of the socket. The socket from the osteogenesis imperfecta, my sockets did not form properly. So the ball joint is not in all the way. And when I was a little girl, that one was so it was not formed properly, so bad that it popped out, and it was constantly rubbing like this. And when I would try to walk, it would pop out. I'd fall down. My dad would put me on his shoulders and carry me. And so they finally operated on me. And back then, they didn't do a lot of operations like that on kids. And I'm not sure everything that they did do to my hip. I still don't know to this day. But I went through hell. I went through hell. I was in the hospital a lot with it. I was in traction. And so they put a thing here on your head, and they have on the legs, and they pull. So they could pull it, away because it was up here, and they could pull it back into the socket. I had a full cast on that leg from the ankle all the way up to the hip. And I had that on for a long time. Prior to that, right after surgery, I had both legs. I was in a full half body cast. So this is how my legs were. And so from the waist down to my feet, both were cast, and there was a bar put between. So it was like an A. And so I would walk, I would teeter like this, back and forth. Or they had like a wagon, and I would lay on my stomach on the wagon on a pillow, and they would pull me around. And then they got me this little flat, it's kind of like a moving, like those wooden, it was wooden, had wheels, and I would call it my scooter. And it was just a flat wooden, like moving trolley that you would put things on. I would lay on it, and I would push myself like this. And I would zoom around the house and outside like that. And in the house, I would just do that teeter walking, like this. And I would even jump on the bed, and sometimes I would grab the bar and I'd flip. Oh, I used to drive my poor mom crazy. But, what can you do when you're like that? You barely can bend. You can barely do anything. Kids would look at me and think, she's a monster. What's wrong with her? And that cast like that in the V was on for a long time. And then that came off, and I was in a wheelchair for a while after I had the second cast, which was a full one leg. That right leg was in full body cast up to the waist. And those ones that were like this was up to the waist as well. When that one single leg cast came off, I was in a wheelchair for a while, and then I went back to the scooter, and then after that I was able to start walking around. So I missed a lot of school. I missed a lot of playing around with kids and having fun. And of course, because of all this, my parents were very, very protective of me and didn't want me to go do a lot of things. So, kids still looked at me like it's a little kid who was in casts. And so, when I did get invited to go do something, I would be having like a little panic attack, like, oh my God, are they gonna like just pick on me there? Or am I invited because they need somebody to make fun of and be cruel to? And it just, people look beyond that. They don't see you. And so I felt like I was invisible, because if they weren't looking at you and saying, what's wrong with you? Or the adults going, oh, poor you, you were ignored. You were just like a piece of furniture, just coffee table right there. Nobody noticed. So I felt very invisible, very forgetful, very like people wouldn't remember me. And you know, that leaves its scars. And to this day, you know, I worry that, you know, stuff like that's going to happen again, and that people are not going to see me for me, and that, you know, I'm forgetful. I'm like, I'm invisible, and, you know, as soon as I'm, even if I'm there, you're not noticing me. So if I know that somebody is upset with me or something, like, it really affects me. It freaks me out. But those are, you know, things that I'm working on. But I can still find I get like that as an adult. And this is something I have to deal with. And luckily though, you know, as I got older and I was gonna go moving into junior high, I met wonderful, wonderful friend. And she was my saving grace. She stood up for me. She didn't let anybody pick on me. She didn't look at me as what was wrong with me. She never made me feel stupid. She never made me feel invisible. She never made me feel insignificant. I got more confidence in myself because of having a friendship with her. I met another wonderful friend in high school, and she as well helped me that same way. We're very close. We're still close to this day. As soon as we start talking, it's like we never been apart. We see each other all the time. You know, our kids played together with their children. They're like sisters to me, and they mean the world to me. And you know, when I met my husband, it was the best thing. I mean, he looked at me. You know, he seen me. He didn't see other things going on. And he made me feel beautiful. He made me feel loved, safe, secure, smart, and not invisible, and not forgetful. Not where you'd forget me, you know? And that was the best day of my life when I met him. And we've been with each other. We've been married for 32 years, or 33 years. And we're going to be together this October, is the day we met, the October 10th. It will be 35 years together. And being with him has given me the confidence in myself, finally being able to find me, find my spot in the world, be comfortable in who I am and secure in who I am, and know that all the stuff that was said to me before is not true. I'm not stupid, you know. And you know, like, he helped me to find me, the Karen inside that always wanted to come out. And you know, like, the confidence in myself, and to let things just let it go, you know. And having my daughter, my beautiful daughter, she's the best person. She is such a lovely person. She never ever would say anything mean to anybody. She sticks up for people. She's so caring. She's a lovely, lovely lady, and I'm so lucky and so blessed to have her as my daughter, and I'm so blessed and lucky to have my husband. And the two of them have made my life amazing, and they have helped me in so many different ways. And my daughter did go through some bullying in school as well, but we were right there to help out, right there to deal with it with her. And the school didn't care, and didn't want to do anything about it. And she was just forced to have to go back day after day. So I pulled her out of school, and they said that that was probably the best thing. They said, because there was nothing that can be done. And everybody was, lots of people were pulling their children out because of this reason. And the school didn't really do anything, the school district. They weren't even really teaching them very much. So I pulled her out and homeschooled her. And she's a very smart, bright lady. And she has accomplished a lot in her life. And I'm so proud of her. She's just amazing. And she has the confidence. She has days where, like all of us, we have bad days, but she has a confidence in her that I never had at her age. And I love seeing that. I love it. And I just want everybody to know that even though you're in something like this and you could be dealing with bullying, it's not the end. It's not something that you can do something about it. You can get help. You can go talk to people. You can go, there's so many helplines. There's so many organizations. There's people around. Talk to somebody. I'm going to leave some information down below, and feel free to contact any one of those. Plus, my email is down there. If anybody wants to talk, if you just email me, message me on Facebook. And I'm here for anybody, because no one should have to go through anything alone, and no one should have to deal with bullying. And let's stop this together. Let's stop bullying together. I know there's been a lot of other people who joined this campaign and have done so much stories, and let's stop this together. So thank you to Lisa and Squish for asking me to join in. I am tagging Squish. She's going to end this campaign and have her video up next. I'm sorry, this was a very long video. It's a very emotional video. There's always somebody there for you. I lost my sister to suicide, and nobody's alone. There's always somebody. There's helplines. So let's help each other out. Let's offer hugs. And let's offer love to everybody. Love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.